Okay. Is it recording? Yes. Hi, America. We're back. The blonde and brunette.
Yes, we're like yin yang. I say we're Charlie's Angels.
We are.
Without
Also,
the third.
This is the first episode ever of Sexy as a Mother. And we're going to explain more about that. But that is what this is going to be called. We're going to love it and nurture it and help it grow.
It's our baby.
It
We
is
had
our
another baby.
We did. We had a baby together. Isn't this world wonderful?
And we didn't gain any weight.
No, love is love. So today we're going to kind of give you a little bit of an intro into what we're going to do here. And
by the way, you can't be sexy unless you're eating.
We are eating today.
You need to nourish your soul.
We are totally eating.
Nourish.
It's going to happen. We may not eat on camera, but we'll maybe take bites in between. We'll see. Or maybe we'll just do it all, go big, and then we're going to play it by ear. But that's I think the overall format and what we want you guys to understand before we dive into the business logistics side of how this is going to work is that this is real. We're keeping it totally real. We're sitting at a restaurant. We're having food delivered. We're not sitting in a recording studio. We don't have editors. We're really just kind of doing this as raw as possible.
Nobody had a makeup artist this
morning.
Did you?
No,
I didn't.
Did you see my Instagram? I blew dry my hair with my kid attached to me this morning.
Love it.
Yeah. So that's, it's real life.
I slept on my hair. I didn't
beautiful.
Shower.
It looks beautiful.
To let everyone know.
I debated not showering because the weather is so awful, but
didn't happen.
I had to do it. So anyway, let's back up a little bit. Let's reel it in. Let's back up. Let's talk about ourselves, give a little intro, and then how this whole thing came about, and then dive right in.
Yeah, so I love it. So I run a sex empowerment platform called Flirty Girl. And I started it because I realized that moms needed a voice to how hard it is to feel sexy and have really good, fulfilling sex. And as a mom, like, this is really hard. And so over the years, I became a sexpert for the mommy set because there isn't one.
No.
And I realized that women like us who are in it every day and driving kids all over the place and are getting, blocked on their date nights because their kid is sick, have no one to talk to them about how hard this is and maybe what they should be doing or what they could be using to make their sex lives better. But most importantly, how to harness that inner sex goddess that we all have that I think as a mom gets really pushed to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And what I figured out is that when women can unleash that, we become way more powerful and way more confident and way more successful outside the bedroom, in addition to being inside the bedroom. So the way we hooked up, it's actually a very funny story.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'll let you say who you are and then we'll talk about our meet
meeting, how we fell in love.
Meet cute.
So I started a blog mostly for cathartic reasons after I was coming out of a divorce called Wine and Cheez-Its, wine with an H, because I'm surrounded by both on a daily basis. And I needed levity in my life. I needed to laugh. I needed to smile. It was such a dark time. And so I had so much humor around me because my family and friends are just naturally funny people and crazy things go on. Very Seinfeld-esque things happen in my life.
A lot of people don't have
that. I am very lucky. And so I started to pull from those experiences and just write little vignettes and little stories. And at first I shared it with just close family and friends. And then as it started to grow, I was getting messages from people I didn't know and from friends of friends saying, you're so relatable and it's real. And it's not like a typical blog where everything is unicorns and rainbows. Like you're not, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not talking badly, but like if I have a shitty day, I say I had a shitty day. Like it's just, I don't hold back. And so it grew into this thing that I never could have imagined. And I started writing for Huffington Post and I just wrote for Pop Sugar and all these little things that are like a dream come true.
You guys, I just have to say something. If you have not read Rachel's piece on Pop Sugar, please Google it. It is so emotional and raw and gorgeous. And I mean,
I'm getting like chills when you're talking about it. Thank you.
It's even if you have not had the experience that Rachel discusses, you will feel some kind of connection to her and the tribe of womanhood by reading it. And I just, please go do it. Please go read it. She didn't even ask me to say
No, I didn't. And I
true.
appreciate it. And speaking of tribes, and this kind of brings everything full circle, I think both of us, and we'll talk about how we met in a second, feel very strongly about being surrounded by a positive tribe and women who lift you up and raise you up. And
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean you all have the same mindset. It doesn't mean you believe in all the same things, because sometimes different perspective is better. But Brooke and I have recently become part of each other's tribe, and I love it, and I think she loves it. And I think that it's, I think it's so important, you know, especially with what we do and being out there as bloggers and as just women doing our thing, when you're not surrounded by other women who are supporting that and giving you and challenging you too. It's not just about telling you what you want to hear. It's really pushing you and challenging you to be a better writer, a better blogger, a better presenter, all of those things. And Brooke does that for me, because as unfiltered as I am, and as much as I really do feel like I lay it on the line, when I have conversations with Brooke sometimes, she makes me look like a nun, because she is so comfortable with so many things that I am not comfortable talking about, that I never even thought was a thing. So it's very, you know, when you're.
But that goes both ways, because your piece on Pop Sugar Moms, I'm not sure I would have written that. I'm not sure I would have bared my soul in that way. And so I think the honesty that Rachel and I bring to the table, we have two different perspectives. We have two different comfort levels. But that means that we're able to deliver to you guys something in the middle. You know, you may relate to Rachel more in some instances. You may relate to me more. But I think what we bring to the table is a collective experience.
Totally agree.
That is what our lives look like in 360. And while Rachel is comfortable talking about some of the things that maybe the rest of us would not want to talk about, I'm comfortable talking about other things that the rest of us would not want to talk about. But the important part is we are all experiencing all of it.
We are. We are, as women, I think there are so many parallels we can draw to our lives. And I think that was kind of the impetus behind all of this. But the way we met was really interesting too. My mom has a tribe, and they're amazing. Oh, they are. These women have been in my life since before I was walking. So I learned from a very early age the importance of girlfriends and tribes. And so a member of my mom's tribe was on vacation at the same place where Brooke was. And they randomly, if you want to tell the story, because you were there, I don't want to tell you.
I was there and having a drink at the bar, and this woman walks in. And much like you have a tribe, like I have the same tribe, right? My mom, her mom's Arlene, my mom's Jessica, and Jessica has a tribe of women that I call my aunts, and they're like nice, jappy Jewish women, you know, like with big diamond rings, and you know, we spend Rosh Hashanah together. And this woman walked in with her group of friends, and I said to the person I was with, I was like, that is my mom's group. Like right there, I know these women. And sure enough, she and I struck up a conversation. What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. She goes, you have to meet this girl in Boca. And I was like, yes, I do. And so I got home and I reached out to Rachel, total cold call. But I was like, hey, I think that we could help each other out. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I think it's worth a conversation. I truly believe, and this is what I love about you too, we should all be helping each other. I cannot stand women, particularly in the mommy blog space. There's so much competition, you guys.
So much.
So there's so much out there. And I really think that we should be supporting each other. And I don't want to diminish from what Rachel does and what she's talking about. She doesn't want to do the same to me, but there is a way that we can build each other up and add more value to what her tribe wants to hear, what my tribe wants to hear. And so we just started, you know, when you like talk on the phone, maybe you had this experience with a guy in your life where it was like, oh my God,
there's chemistry, you hit it off.
From the moment.
And I think for us too, we didn't know what we wanted to do together, but we knew we wanted to do something.
Right.
So we had several conversations. And, you know, first you were on the radio show that Michelle Dempsey and I were doing. And then you and I had a lot of offline conversations about collaborating and blog posts and podcasts and all these kinds of things. And then decided that we were going to do Sexy as a Mother, which would be a video series that we would compile that would really dig into not just sex, because we want to make that very clear.
Sexy is not about sex.
Right.
Like we need to just say that right now, because I know there are people out there who are watching and who are like, you just said sexy and I just tuned off because that makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Okay. So here's what I say, and we need to put this out there right away. Sexy is not about sex. Okay. The sexiest woman in any room is not the thinnest, is not the one with the biggest boobs, with the most cleavage, is not the one wearing the biggest heels and the shortest skirt. That woman is slutty. She ain't sexy, okay? And she's probably covering up for some insecurities. The sexiest woman in the room is the one who is confident.
Right.
That is what people, not just men, people are attracted to. So when you own yourself, when you are rocking whatever it is that you rock, girl, it could be a sleeve of tattoos. I do not care.
Mhm.
That is sexy.
Yeah.
Because sexiness is energy. It is not a look. It is not an outfit. It is not makeup. It is how those things make you feel. And how you feel is the energy you put out. That is what sexiness is. So don't be scared. We're not going to talk about any porn or things that are
No.
really intimidating.
This is
We
going to be
are talking
real.
about confidence and how you get that as a mother, how you bring that forward because you spend your whole life giving to other people.
And why it's so important. And you know,
Yes.
this is such an interesting time for me personally to discuss this topic because I had a baby 6 months ago.
Can you die?
I,
Do you know what I was like at 6 months postpartum?
you know, it's not easy.
Fat and on the floor.
It's hard. It is hard.
You are an inspiration to me. I
Oh,
swear.
stop. I don't listen. I'm going to put it out there.
Swear.
I don't feel great about my body. I
You look
don't
amazing.
feel, I appreciate it. But you know too, that no matter what compliments, what people say to you, when
It
you're in
doesn't
your
matter.
head and you feel a certain way,
No.
it's very hard to get there. And,
Mhm.
and I'm going to make a confession now too.
Oh, I like
I know there's a lot of schools of thought on whether children should come first, husbands should come first. Like everyone differs. I'm going to tell you flat out how I feel. And I said this to Jason when we got married. And
Jason's her husband.
Jason's my
For
husband.
anyone that doesn't know.
I told him flat out, I love you. You are my soulmate. I would throw myself under a bus for you, but my kids are always going to come first. They're going to come before you. And I know there are people who say you have to maintain that relationship with your husband because that's
I'm
what
the opposite.
got you here. So, but I'll tell you why I feel that way. I just feel like Jason is an adult. I'm an adult. We can I don't want to say take care of ourselves because I do believe that a relationship and nurturing a relationship is very, very crucial and important. Sure. But I think when you have small kids, they need you so much. And so I immediately go into mom mode. And I don't think I, just ignore Jason at all, but I do I put my kids first. And it's very interesting because at this time in my life now I have an 8-year-old and I have a 6-month-old. So I have 2 children at very different points in their lives who need very different things from me. And Jason is so patient and so calm and he understands and he gets it. He's never given me a hard time about it. He completely gets that I am a mom first. But
this is why we love Jason, by the way.
Totally. But I do know in my head that it is very important to make sure that our relationship is prioritized in a way where we do have a strong marriage, which we do. He is my rock and he is the reason why I'm able to do so much that I do work-wise and personal-wise. And I'm appreciative of him every day, but I still do put my kids first. And I'm always going to be like that. No one's going to change me. No one's going to tell me it has to be the other way.
Well, you're being authentic.
I'm being authentic, but I do believe that there are times where you have to take those moments to nurture your relationship. And I just said offline to Brooke how Jason and I, since the baby's been born, we've gone out to dinner. We've gotten, parents to come and babysit so we can spend time together and have adult time. And I do think it's very, very important. It's been a handful of those. But the other week, totally spontaneously, my mom came up and said, I'm watching the girls go out. And we'd never been out during the day. Since the baby's been born, we have not been out during the day without kids.
We need to have a whole conversation about dates.
It was just to be with each other and have no kids and enjoy each other and hold hands and walk down the street and eat and not change diapers. It really is so important because I do think it's those connections. And like you said, sexy is not about sex. This date wasn't about sex. It was about being together and enjoying each other the way we did when we dated. And there was not a care in the world about getting a bottle warmed up and getting into, it was so nice to know that my mom was there and not to worry about it. Right. And it brings your relationship back to where it should be. And I think those moments as you go through life are very important.
I think it's important to, so we're opposite like that. Actually, did you even notice that you're wearing black and I'm wearing white?
No, I love it.
Okay, so I'm totally opposite. And I tend to put myself in a non-selfish way first and my relationship first. And the reason that I do that it's taken me a very long time to understand that does not make me a bad mom. I have 2 young kids. I have a 7.5-year-old and a 4-year-old. I adore my kids. I am technically a stay-at-home mom. I don't go to an office building every day. I do drop off and pick up and play dates and swim practice.
You're not a stay-at-home mom. You're a work-at-home mom.
You're a work-at-home mom, totally. Which is actually harder sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the truth is that I suffered really bad postpartum depression and I suffer from chronic depression that's being treated and all that. But I know that part of my self-care, how I can be a good mom is to put my relationships and myself 1st. And
Mhm.
that is my way of being a kick-ass mom. And so and that's the lack of judgment that we need to have about each other, right? And what I need is I need to tap into that sexy self, right? Like I need to tap into who I was before I was a mom, which is what you and Jason were doing that day.
Right.
Y'all
Right.
were doing what you did when you first started dating.
Right.
And you said, oh my God, I really like this guy. Like I can spend the whole day like going to art galleries and eating and drinking with him. This guy's awesome.
And the reason I think that's so important is because, listen, at the end of the day, your kids are going to grow up, right? They're going to go to college. They're going to be in high school and have boyfriends and girlfriends and not want anything to do with you. They're going to start to disconnect in a way where they're not little kids anymore. They don't need you in the same way, right? So at the end of the day, you have each other. So if you let if you let that relationship go, then what's going to end up happening is you're going to be sitting in a house alone with no kids, watching TV in separate rooms and not even just not enjoying each other. And so I do think it's important, but I love that we differ on that. And the reason I love that we differ is because I think that's what it's all about, being sexy as a mother, is it doesn't have to look the same. I believe that when you're a mom and you're juggling work in whatever fashion you do it, and a husband and animals and kids and a house and all these things,
parents who are aging. I mean, there's a lot of women in an older segment, slightly older segment than you and I are
absolutely
in, who are in that squeeze generation and have to do both.
And I think what makes you sexy as a mother is having enough insight to know what is going to make you happy and fulfilled, whether it's putting yourself first, putting your husband first, putting your kids first, a combination of the three. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I think the most important thing at the end of the day is you're sane, right? Whatever keeps you sane, whatever process keeps you sane. It's the same thing when you're a mom and people are pressuring you about breastfeeding or making your own baby food and all these ridiculous things. You do what works for you, because it is the most important thing is that your children and your husband have a sane mother and wife.
Absolutely.
That is what is the crux of it, and that is what's going to help build that confidence, which is going to lead to you being sexy as a mother. It's all connected.
Well, so here's the other thing that I think is really important for us to understand. I don't think there's any other group besides mothers who is better poised to harness their sexiness. Okay, you have done something remarkable. Whether you had that baby, whether you pushed it out, got it pulled out by a C-section, adopted it, loaned it, like fostering it, like whatever way that you did that.
A mother is a mother.
A mother is a mother, and there is no harder job on this planet. You are raising a human being, okay? You have to be confident, whether you judge yourself every day and you think you're failing. I think I'm failing literally every single day. You still are kicking ass. And women who kick ass have the capability to be confident. And that is what sexy is.
This is but this is one of the things that draws me to Brooke, is that she is such a female rah-rah.
Oh God.
Like
you don't have a bigger cheerleader than me, I promise you.
But there's no judgment. There's you can tell her everything you're doing wrong on the day and she'll find one thing and say, but you're doing this. And I love women like that. I have always been a girl's girl. I have always had girlfriends. I did the sorority thing in college. Like, I love girlfriends. Girlfriends to me are also crucial to you being sane and being sexy as a mother, because you need that tribe. So when you find people who, whether they agree with you or not, but you're getting really good perspective. I get great perspective from Brooke because we do not agree on everything, but it's not a belligerent disagreement. It's just, we just have different perspectives on stuff, but we're able to come together and talk about them. And I think that is so huge when you're talking to other mothers, because not everyone's going to do the same thing. And so instead of having that lack of confidence where you feel like you're being compared to a group of people who are doing things differently, own what you're doing and be confident in what you're doing. It may take a little bit, right? I mean, it doesn't happen overnight.
This is not easy. I give speeches all over the country, and I talk to groups of women, big and small. And one of the things that I talk about when I talk about sexiness, because one of the things that I get hired to talk about the most is what are 5 easy steps to being a sexy mom, right? Is that This needs to be easy, y'all. Like our lives are really hard and complicated.
You don't need another job.
Like you don't need another job. I don't need to be sit there worrying about how sexy can I be today.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that sexiness is confidence. But like there are days where I cannot get out of my pajamas and I feel like a total failure. I am not sexy that day.
Right.
I know I'm not. I could have the best makeup and hair that day. And if I am not feeling good about myself, not because of how I look, but because the actions that I'm doing in a day, I won't be sexy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you have to just accept that. This is about, we talk about being real. No one's realer than you or me. This isn't going to be every day.
Right.
Y'all are not going to be sexy every day. You might be moms and so beautifully poised to be sexy. And that's a mind shift.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all have to get that mind shift going.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're a mom doesn't mean you can't be sexy,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to be realistic. This is not going to happen every single day.
Well, there's different kinds of sexy too, right?
Absolutely.
There's the sexy where you bust out, if it's your thing, lingerie and heels and all that stuff. And there's the sexy where I guarantee you there are many men and women who walk in and see the other parent holding that child with the hair in a ponytail and no makeup on, and they're just soothing them. And I know it sounds cheesy, I know it sounds cliche, but like, there are times where you're like, you know what? She's an amazing mother. He's an amazing father. And like, that's why I chose this person to do life with.
Right.
And so that also has a level of sexiness. Sexiness doesn't mean slutting it up. And like, it doesn't. It's about the relationship and the intimacy and the connection, everything.
It's really, but it's about the connection to yourself.
Right.
Okay. Because when you're standing there and you're in your pajamas and your hair is up, but you're doing this beautiful mothering thing, and your partner comes in and like, typically your partner will come in and like just give you a kiss on the cheek and you can kind of like see the love in their eyes. That's because you're doing something that you own.
You're inspiring them.
You're inspiring them. And that is sexy. I will say this, and you're going to hear me say this every single time we get on this camera. Sexy is not a look. It is a feeling. Okay. And it is an energy that you put out. And what happens is, and this is why you need to care. Okay, I know you are changing diapers and you're doing homework and you are telling your boss that you're going to be there at 8 a.m. and worrying about how you're going to make lunch. Like, I get that. Here is why you need to care about this sexy thing that we are talking about, because it will fulfill you. Okay, energy out is energy in. We all read The Secret. What you put out is what you get back. When you start putting out that confidence, which then translates to sexy, you're going to start feeling that energy come back, and guess what? It feels awesome.
Yeah. And I think
it feels so good.
And you want that feeling.
Wow.
You want that because you know what the alternative is: shutting down
Right.
and just going through the motions every day, packing the lunches, bringing your kids to school, doing all that stuff, neglecting your relationship. And then you end up in, situations where people become resentful or people just kind of close off emotionally. And it's very hard to rebuild from there.
Yes.
And I think that as long as you're honest with your partner, it's okay to say, Jason makes fun of me because I'll get dressed and I'll have one of those moments where I'm ripping clothes off and throwing them.
Totally.
And he's like, you are crazy. He's like, you're beautiful. And do I believe him? I think partially he says it because he genuinely believes it. And I think partially he says it because I need to hear it. But it doesn't matter. It's like he knows.
But you have to believe it yourself.
You have to believe it.
If you don't believe it, it doesn't matter what anyone says.
You have to believe it. And it is in those moments where, it's not, it is on us to kind of, like we're talking about, have that insight and build that sexy mentality connection for ourselves. But I think our partners do have a responsibility also, but they don't know what to do if we're not honest with them.
Okay, so I'm going to be totally honest here. I have had a lot of couples therapy. Okay. The biggest piece of information that I have gotten out of that couples therapy is y'all cannot read each other's minds. If you are the type of woman who needs outside validation, you need to tell your partner, babe, when I get dressed up for date night, you need to tell me I look amazing. Okay, don't say that when you're already dressed up. Okay, because then you're gonna feel like shit. You have to be honest. You have to be honest. So like Saturday morning, if you know you're going out on date night on Saturday night, just say to him, like, just FYI, if you want tonight to go well, please tell me I look nice when I come out of the bedroom.
So,
and he will.
I have to tell you a really funny story related to that. I think I might have told you this when it happened, and if I did, I apologize. But I'm now doing it for the air.
I love your
I had tried for our radio show, I think it was, for the first time in my life, minus like being 5 and being in a ballet recital where you wore like drag queen makeup. I tried red lipstick for the first time in my life for our radio show because it was about sex and sexiness. And I said, I'm going to bust out the red lipstick. I always just feel intimidated to wear something like that.
Right. It plays well. I should have more lipstick on.
But I always feel I wear neutrals, as you can see. So I just
but
felt
black
like
nails.
Right, black, always black nails, always. So that's my sexiness. Yeah. So that was the first and only time I'd ever done it. And Jason and I were going out to dinner one night, just the two of us. And I said, you know what? I got dressed, my hair was done, I had makeup on. I said, I'm going to put on red lipstick and he's going to be like, wow. I didn't like make a big production like, babe, look what I'm putting on. I just did it. So I put on the red lipstick. We're sitting in the car and he looks at me and he does one of these. And I'm waiting. I'm like, oh, he's going to be so into it. And he's like, are you wearing red lipstick? And I was like, yes. And keep in mind, I'm postpartum, so I'm like emotional and whatever. He looked at me and he was like, and I go, what? And this is honesty at its best. He's like, I like the lipstick you usually wear. I don't really like it. I'm like, the tears, I'm hysterical. I'm trying to be sexy. I was trying to do something different and get out of my comfort zone, and you're making me feel uncomfortable. I mean, it was like real tears.
Did you like it? So here's my question. That's very sweet of him. Did you like yourself in the red lipstick?
I liked it, and I felt like it was a very different look for me, but I felt like I was owning it and rocking it, and I had like the spikes on, and I had a black tight shirt on, and I had my hair all curled, and I put that red lipstick on, and I was like, I am sexy as a mother.
Yes.
And I got in the car.
And he started swearing.
And he killed it for me. And I literally, real tears. And he looked at me and he's just like, you are being ridiculous. He's like, I didn't mean it like that. He's like, you're beautiful. He's like, he goes, you know what? Wear it like when it's just us privately. Like wear it. And I was like, no, I'm never wearing it again. I was like, turned off. And I will not put on red lipstick ever again in front of him. I will do it with my girlfriends. Maybe one day
Actually,
he'll like
I say that. I think red lipstick, so
it's for like a night out with the girls.
This is not abnormal. Research shows that men prefer natural face.
Yeah.
Men do not like really bright lipstick.
Right.
Biologically, I don't know. Like, it's just like a thing. They don't like it. So if you're going on a date night, you're better served to do a smoky eye and a paler lip. Men will like that better. Plus, men tend to find eyes sexy. They see it as like a window into your soul kind of thing. Think about Muslim and Arab cultures where they go like this and it's only eyes. It's very erotic. So I say, but I do think that bright lips is like the easiest mom makeup hack. Because I will be like this all day, right? Like with my kids.
Yep. But the minute you put on,
I have a girls' night or whatever, and then I put on a red lip or an orange lip or whatever, and I'm done, and I can walk out the door.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's an easy hack for moms, but I tend to tell women to save it for girls' night.
Well, I didn't even think about it. You're 100% right, because I do think also they get accustomed to seeing us how we are. So Jason's
they see when you wake up in the morning,
right? I don't wear a lot of makeup.
They all want to have sex with you when you wake up in the morning.
They do.
So,
I mean, we have running jokes because you know when you're married, those boundaries come down. I mean, Jason has seen me at my worst. He's seen me 9 months pregnant,
growing up. They've wiped the amniotic fluid from our tushes.
Seen me with a full face of like he calls it my kabuki mask when I put on like a white mask, and he always jokes and he's like, I still have sex with you. Like when you can connect with someone at that level where you don't feel that constant pressure to constantly look.
Yes.
Like you're trying to be sexy versus them just finding the innate sexiness with you. I think it inspires you more to feel comfortable in your relationship and build that intimacy.
But I have to say, and here's where we differ a little bit, I do think that can promote laziness. Okay, so I think that if you take for granted that he loves you barefaced,
you think
he loves
complacent.
You become a little bit complacent, and that you don't have to put in any effort. And I think part of being sexy is working at it a little bit.
Right.
I think most women, while most men will say you look sexiest barefaced and like at your most natural, I think most women will say that they feel most confident and therefore sexy when they're made up a little bit or put together well or wearing their favorite thing.
But let's be clear so we don't like start getting hate mail. When you say that you're, to put a little work into it, it's not for someone else.
No, that's for you.
It's for yourself.
That's for you.
Right.
So that you can walk out and be like, I look really good today.
Well,
whatever that means.
Let's be honest.
Whatever that means.
Let's be honest. I love my yoga pants. I love
my yoga pants.
I love
too.
throwing the hair up. I love
too.
it. But when I get dressed on like a random Saturday night, if we are going out and I pull on my skinny jeans and I slip on those heels,
how good do you feel?
I feel
how good do you feel?
Sexy, and I feel good. I feel like human. I feel like not just a mother, I feel like a woman. And I think that that's part of it too, is that we're so identified by our kids and by being a mother, which is amazing because it's the best and hardest job on the planet. But I think that you don't just let other relationships suffer, you kind of let the feeling of what it feels like to have that I am woman, hear me roar moment.
That's why I say you've got an inner sex goddess.
Yeah.
She's just hidden in a closet.
Yeah.
Like most women do. I mean, some women are already out there doing it and y'all don't need me. But a lot of women don't. You put her in a closet. Right. I did. I put her in a closet for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I realized that we can be moms and be sexy sometimes. Mm-hmm. You know, I have a lot of women who come into my practice and say, I feel like I can't be a little bit dirty and kinky and have a little bit of wild sex because I'm a mom now and I'm supposed to be, you know, a certain way.
You're not supposed to be anything.
And I just call bullshit on that. Like, I just don't think that that's true. I think that you can be diverse. I think you can have, you know, you do this at work, right? You go and you're a VP at work, mm-hmm. and then you come home and you're a daughter, friend, wife. Like, you have multiple roles. Mm-hmm. You can do both. But let's just, again, I'm going to say this till y'all are blue in the face, or till I'm blue in the face and y'all want to shut me off. That's not every day, y'all. It is not every day.
And it's not, again,
one time a week. If you can hit one time a week habitually, mm-hmm. you will start to feel
you
better
feel like a different, there's a very different, they make all those cliches when you are working in an office, like dress for the job you want.
Yes.
And when you're at home, you know, when you're at home, it's very easy, especially I think for people like us who do work from home. Very rarely am I getting up and putting real clothes on. I'm changing out of my pajamas into workout pants that I'm not working out in. And I'm throwing my hair in a ponytail. I'm maybe putting on some moisturizer, and that is it. So like, I agree, if maybe one day a week, whether you're meeting friends for lunch,
and it doesn't have to be the full day.
No,
I'm talking about a couple hours.
Throw some lipstick on, because it does change it changes your whole vibe. I think
energy vibe. Yeah. That's mm-hmm. what it is. We're talking about energy. Sexy as a Mother, if you take nothing else from this web series, it is an energy and a vibe, mm-hmm. and not a vibrator.
That's coming later.
I'm sure at some point we'll talk about that. Because I'm going to just say it and we'll talk about it later, but really good sex and having a fulfilling sex life does contribute to a sexier energy, mm-hmm. and more confident, mm-hmm. energy.
Well, it's adding a layer to your marriage where you're going from just tolerating each other and being in a relationship that tends to start to feel like you're just roommates, to having that intimacy that separates it from other relationships in your life. And it is so important to take care of that, unless you don't want to. If you don't want to, then you know, you are prerogative.
To each his
own. But
if
you want to have that relationship that continues to feel not like that, listen, and let's be real too, you're not going to, after 10 years of marriage, every day of your life have butterflies. You're not. If you do, you're lying. I'm sorry. It is not real life. But you can have 10 years of marriage where you genuinely adore and love your partner. And there are days you can't stand them. You want to smother them with a pillow because they're snoring and you can't take it. And there are days where you just want to embrace them and hug them because they did something so sweet as a father or as a spouse or as a partner or whatever it is. So it's a balance, and it's about figuring out in your life how you can build the confidence within yourself, nurture that relationship so that it all becomes this one cohesive piece, and you're doing life in a way that makes you feel good every day and put your head in the pillow at night going, I am happy and fulfilled and complete, and
which, by the way, why we add the mother part here makes you a better mom.
100%.
Okay? Like, we already said it, we parent differently. Not that we parent differently, but we
have different priorities.
Our views on how we approach that might be different. But the bottom line is we want to be the best moms
mm-hmm.
that we possibly can. And I know you do too. Mm-hmm. So this is really a toolkit, something to add to your toolkit of how you can do this. Mm-hmm. How you can rock being a mom, how you can rock being a wife, how you can rock being a person. Because let's not forget, you need to show an example to your kids that you can be a full person, that being a full person is your most productive self, right? That's how you contribute to society. That's how you leave your mark on this world. So I feel like we are going to be your best friends, and we're going to talk about the things that maybe are a little uncomfortable, and we're going to get real, but hopefully y'all find some solace in it and some inspiration and some relatability. And we want to get your questions. We want to know feedback. What's important to you and what you're struggling with and what you need help with, and also have questions. I'm sure you get a ton of questions from your followers. I get a lot of questions about my personal sex life, about how I balance it. A lot of people call bullshit on the fact that I don't shower for 5 days at a time. That's not true. Follow us on Instagram.
Yep.
Follow our social media, and you will start to see like how real, and you'll get a better sense for our voice. Wine and Cheez-Its.
At Wine and Cheez-Its with a wine with an H.
And at Flirty Girl Guide on Facebook.com and on Instagram. There's also Twitter, but frankly, I hate Twitter.
I know. I know. Instagram and Facebook is your best bet.
And we don't do Snapchat because we're too old.
No, we're too old.
We're too old for Snapchat.
But we are not too old to be sexy as a mother. So
that's why the cougar is like such a phenomenon. We should talk about cougars.
We should.
Next show, we're going to talk about cougars.
We should.
That is for real. It is not just like a TV show with corny cops.
And they are prowling in Boca, let me tell you.
I'm going to go to the bar at the Breakers tonight. And
you're going to be surrounded. You're going to the cougar den.
You are going to the cougar den. I'm going to go with food, too.
So
I'm going to like sprinkle cougar food. I see what I can come up with.
So I think that we've given everyone a good idea of what kinds of things we're going to talk about here. But we really do mean when we say we want to interact with you. So if you're too shy to comment when this gets posted and you're watching it and you don't want to, comment in the public section, we totally understand. We can keep things anonymous. So send us direct messages, or however you want to get in touch with us. I think our emails are both on our pages also. Yep. We are open to any and all conversations. We like people, and we like to talk, and we like to meet new friends and see what everyone is up to. So definitely interact with us. We are very much looking forward to this, and we hope you enjoyed your first Sexiest Mother.
And we should say this is pretty special that we're together, because I am from New York and she's down here in Florida. When you see us next, we're going to be on a split screen.
It'll be like this, just like this.
See that
we just won't be in the same place. Yep.
So, but hopefully we'll have a couple more where we can be together. Yes. But just to manage your expectations, we're going to
separate
have
but together.
Yes, separate. We're having a long distance relationship.
Yes, so one that works. We're really good at it. Yes,
and I can show you guys a sex toy that does that too.
I love it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Brooke, it is always a pleasure.
I love you so much.
Love you too. We're going to eat our food now because it wouldn't be polite to do it on camera, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.